Hey, I'm here with special guest today. This is my friend Tony Atkinson. He is in my opinion, the godfather of multi-site ministry in IPHC. He did it before it was cool, and we appreciate the legacy of that. And I know he only looks like he's 30, but he's been in this a while. And so what I want to ask you is a couple questions. Talk to me about the importance, the benefit, if there are any cons of longevity in ministry, because you've been in this, the churches you pastored, you stayed in those churches a long time.
Right. I was ordained in 75. And so we started our first church in 77. And so I stayed there for 28 years.
Yeah.
I've only pastored 2 churches.
I know it.
And that's kind of amazing because I've talked to ministers, they've been to every 3 years, but I've only pastored 2 churches. Had great, and longevity to me, the key to that is, number one, you have to stay in a place before you can complete vision.
Sure.
You can't move around and have new vision, So longevity gives you that opportunity to finish the vision. Number 2, influence.
Yeah.
Now, when you give your life to a group of people for 28 years, you have influence. You have earned trust and respect. You can get a lot of things done. So to me, longevity, the beauty of longevity are at least those 2 things. You get to complete the vision and you get influence.
Yeah. So what's the hard thing about longevity as far as, because I know I pastored one church in the city for 16 years, and there's been pulling is on you all the time to do something different, go somewhere else. How do you resist that?
Well, I love new ideas, but I try not to borrow too many ideas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I see something you're doing. I said, well, I'll try it. No, I think to me, the benefit of longevity is sticking with the vision and being consistent. Well, to me, consistency is a key in the body of Christ, and especially as a pastor, because I know pastors have changed so much. They go to visit your church. Well, I'm going to do what Steve's doing. And they go, no, just stick with the vision. And longevity gives you that advantage of the payoff.
Yeah, marathon rather than the sprint.
There you go. Yeah, that's perfect.
So, okay, different gear here. Okay, so we've had these conversations, and you're a little older than I am. Can't tell it by looking, but he's a little older than I am. But the same message is true for both of us, is that we have fewer tomorrows than we had yesterdays. We know that there's this window of ministry. And you're approaching what would be, some would say, the twilight years or whatever. And I've talked to you some about this concept of succession plans, and I know you're getting ready to start some of that. I know you're early in it, and you're not ready to go out, put them out to pasture yet. But what are some of the things you're thinking, steps you're taking that maybe a minister that's in the same place could walk through?
I know you're not going to believe it, but I turned 70 just a month ago. So anyway, when something happens to a man on the inside when he turns 70, you start thinking different. And I'm thinking now about reaching the next generation. Don't want to get teared up, but think about my grandkids.
Absolutely.
My grandkids are more important to me than somebody who's been in the church 50 years. Sure. So what I'm planning at age 70, in a 2-year time span, we've already introduced our new pastor who's going to take my place. I've hired all new staff, young staff. My worship leader's 22. Wow. My youth pastor's 22. My executive pastor who's going to take my place is 26. My children's church is in our early 30s. Sharon and I are the oldest folks on staff. We're the grandpa, the grandma. Yeah. We've got a lot of wisdom. But one of the things we're doing is preparing our church to reach the next generation.
That's good.
And I wish, one of the greatest fears, let me start over, one of the greatest fears that I dealt with is pastors who stay way too long. They ride the wave, they coast, they've lost their vision, they've lost their purpose, and they need the church more than the church needs them. I hate saying it that way. I'm not trying to be mean, but it's almost a Messiah complex. And I've always prayed, Lord, don't let me overstay.
Sure.
And so in preparation for transition, and I've got a 2-year transition, which gives people time to accept the new leadership and not mourn me leaving.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to be there 2 years, and we'll just hopefully it'll be a very smooth rollover.
Yeah.
And when I turn it over to these kids, I call them kids in their 20s, but to turn it over to them, they've been trained, they've been prepared, they're anointed, they're ready to roll.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that.
I think Tony and I both have embraced this concept. We're all just interim pastors.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how old you are. You're
Yeah.
just an interim pastor.
Right.
Doesn't matter how long you've been there. You're an interim pastor, and we got to hold it loosely enough that we'll leave it, let him give it back to the Lord and let him have it. We're just stewarding it, and that at the right moment he release it.
I think what you said is really important for all of us to realize. It's not our bride.
Yeah.
I'm just a caretaker.
Absolutely.
God called me to caretake the bride.
For a
Now
season.
I'm going to
Yep.
hand it over to you. And if we get that concept, it's not my church. I didn't die for it.
Right.
I have not shed a drop of blood. I mean, I felt like it
Some
sometime.
sweat.
Yeah, I got some scars, but
Yeah.
other than that, but ministry is just it's an under shepherd ministry, and it's not my church.
Sure.
And so it's going to be hard to walk away.
It
I got
is.
to, and I know you went through this. It's tough to walk away from a group of people you've sown your life into for years and years. And they tell me every week, Pastor, please don't retire.
Right.
Please. And that makes it even tougher.
Oh, yeah.
But I still have to deal with the fact that, when you're 70, I want somebody with fresh vision, new vision, that can speak the language of this new generation. I don't get it.
And it's about energy too. I heard Brady Boyd say one time, at our age, I'm 55, he's 55. He said at 55, you learn that you're not managing just time, you're managing energy.
That's right.
And so, listen, man, love you.
Hey,
And I
thank
give you honor. I scripturally, we give honor to who honors due. You have proven that you're one of the good guys, and you've led us in some areas that you probably don't get enough credit for. And I just really appreciate what you've done.
my pleasure,
Yes,
sir.
Love you,
God
man.
bless you.
Yes, sir.